In this week's Educate Arkansas, a Springdale teacher becomes the second Arkansas educator to embark on a life-changing adventure.
Now back home from South America, he tells 5 News reporter Jose Carranza how the lessons learned are now reaching his classroom.
Educate Arkansas, sponsored by Forward Arkansas.
Derek Ratchford is a teacher at Sonora Middle School in Springdale. He has a passion for teaching his students and recently had the chance of a lifetime to become one again.
The whole process has really just started for my kids and the things that these kids can do and create when given the opportunity to learn and express themselves and find their passion.
After winning a Founders Award with the school's East program, he became the second teacher in the state to become a National Geographic Grosvenor Teacher Fellow. The program allows educators to go on expeditions all over the world. Ratchford made his trip to the Galapagos Islands in September.
I've never really traveled without my wife and my family. We flew into Guayaquil, Ecuador, and we stayed overnight, which was interesting. It's one of the top 10 most dangerous cities in the world, and we were basically under lockdown when we got to our hotels.
Instead of letting this hinder his expedition, Ratchford took the experience and compared it to what his incoming middle school students experience, a new world away from the comfort of home. Finally, Ratchford made it to the wildlife wonder, the Galapagos Islands.
And we did a lot of amazing stuff. We snorkeled with sharks and sea turtles. We kayaked through the mangroves with 25 to 30 sharks all around us, which was really super cool. Every day was different. Every day was a different animal.
But his favorite parts were actually brewing coffee from the cocoa bean and playing soccer on the beaches with locals.
I really enjoyed the cultural side, probably more than the animals, just to see how different it is and how special it was.
As a Grosvenor Teacher Fellow, Ratchford was tasked with creating lessons and content for National Geographic. His focus was human impact, which he explains with the story of finding a cigarette butt on the beach.
And when they saw me taking pictures of it, they reached down in the sand and they dug a giant circle around it, didn't disturb it, didn't touch it, and then they lined it around with rocks so the tides couldn't get to it. And then they documented it on their daily field report, where it was located, the latitude, longitude, all the GIS information about that piece, that cigarette butt, so that the Park Service could come back and test it and figure out why it was there and then document it from their perspective.
A local told him that the greatest threats to the islands aren't climate, black market selling of animals, or even the change of animal migration patterns. Instead, he says it's the perception of safety.
If anyone ever gets that perspective and connects it with the idea and philosophy that the South American countries are not safe, no one will ever want to come there. And 90% of their income and their economy is from tourism. And without tourism, they can no longer protect the animals that we love so much.
It's one of the many lessons he brought home to his students.
Looking back on it, they put safety first, which if you think about it in education, if our kids don't feel safe, they can't learn. And nothing political about that, just in terms of how we approach education. I want my kids' minds to be open. I want them to be not afraid of failing.
New perspective for Ratchford, brought on by his life-changing adventure. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.